Hey, welcome to the podcast, AD.
Oh, you ready?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said you was gonna do an introduction.
Well,
Oh,
that's basically
that's
it.
the introduction?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm Ad Dolphin. Man, it's a pleasure to be here.
Sorry about the confusion there, but the other way that I introduce you is always to ask every guest this question. Who do you say you are for anyone who doesn't know you?
Oh, I'm Ad Dolphin. I'm the CEO of DHerbs.com. Also, I did all the weight loss transformations for the Steve Harvey Show. I've been over 200 news channels. I've done the doctors quite a few times. I've been on Dish Nation, also Page Six. I've done over 40 episodes on the Steve Harvey TV show. I've done every radio show pretty much in the country as
Well,
far as interviews go. Any syndicated radio show, most likely I've been there before. And that's me. I'm Ad Dolphin.
that's awesome. And I guess can you tell me how you grew up a little bit? What got you into media to be able to be on all those platforms?
As far as how did I grow, I grew up poor. So I grew up fighting day one. So trying to figure out how I'm gonna get myself out of this situation. I was blessed with a father who always told me that I could do anything. It didn't matter what it was. He always told me that I was absolutely capable of doing anything. So he empowered me in that way. So therefore, I led my life in that way. And that's probably the main reason why I'm here. My mother, she had a different perspective on life. My mother showed me something different. What she showed me is that if you show up to work every single day, you'll get good at it. So my mom was super consistent about what she did in life, and she slowly moved up the ladder. So it was two different perspectives, but both perspectives made me who I am today.
Wow. And I guess with that, like what got you into media when growing up, where you grew up and having that strong connection from both your parents?
When you say media, I don't know exactly what do you mean
Like
by that?
say, for instance, like having a strong presence in social media, doing podcasting, being on the Steve Harvey show, like you mentioned, being on news channel, things like that. But I guess usually when I think media, I'm thinking of like forward-facing public type figure.
Well, no, I get that. I don't really necessarily see myself in that way. I just see myself as really honestly, the CEO of DHerbs. That's
Mhm.
my main thing that I do every single day. The other stuff, as far as representing DHerbs on those different platforms, definitely. I definitely do that, but I consider myself just the CEO, helping to spread the message and the good that DHerbs does.
Got you. And how did you develop DHerbs, or what gave you that track to be like, this is what I want to help people with?
It didn't really come to me like that. So I'm an entrepreneur by just by trade. Like I've never ever thought I would work for anyone ever.
Hmm.
Just never ever crossed my mind. Just would never do it, wouldn't consider it because mostly because I had a terrible attitude and I knew I would just get fired and I wanted to do things my way.
Hmm.
And I kind of thought outside of the box. And a lot of times people don't really want you to do that. They just want you to do whatever they want you to do.
Right.
So therefore, I knew I would have a difficult time in the work environment. So I knew I had to create something on my own. And as far as the herbs go, it's just something that honestly just came to me.
Mhm.
It's and when I mean came to me, not like it was an idea. It was basically I had got home from Australia playing basketball because I
Mhm.
used to play basketball overseas. And then um, I started looking for other different opportunities. And one thing that was happening to me at the time is that I had began gaining weight. I had never been overweight a day in my life, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden I'm gaining weight. I see the top of the of my. Do I have to push this back because I don't want it to eclipse your view?
No, you're good.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started gaining weight and I started looking for things like how can I stop this? I had never faced it in my life because I played basketball, basically 20 hours a day. So so someone had introduced a concept of cleansing, and I did the cleanse and I loved it. I lost the weight and I realized I have this crazy addictive personality. So I started doing
Mhm.
everyone's cleanse on the planet. And I noticed they were all a little different. And some had good points, some had bad points, some had useless points. I said, well, maybe let me try to figure out how I can do this. I really like this. Maybe I could try to develop a cleanse. So therefore, I begin to search out herbalists, hire herbalists, and I begin working on the different formulas to develop me personally the best cleanse on the planet, which is the DHerbs full body cleanse. Took me about a year to do.
Mhm.
Um, and it's probably one of the world leading online cleanses to market today. I sell more cleanses probably than anyone on the planet.
Nice. It seems like you guys are really on the leading edge of things out in California on the West Coast, just like not just being forward thinking, but staying with, okay, I have this idea and let me pursue this as far as it can go because you're literally at the on the West Coast, you're on the edge of the how would you say? The edge of the world, so to speak, unless you're on Japan and you're on the other side.
Well, LA is a very, very unique place. LA is probably, I always tell people, LA is the only place where the gardener makes $1 million.
Hmm.
What I mean by that is everything is obtainable here.
Hmm.
Dreams come true here. And people think and move around different here.
Hmm.
So, it's, like I said, you can go to a coffee shop and be next to a billionaire in LA.
Right.
That's how close to, your dreams you really are and things you really want to become because you're surrounded around these people who
Hmm.
think a certain way. To obtain that kind of wealth and to become a millionaire, you can't think like everyone else. You
Hmm.
can't be like everyone else. And everyone to me in LA is a little different. They're very unique and they're looking for something big and they tend to find it here.
Gotcha. I guess that makes sense why people would stay because a lot of times, like the pandemic came and went, and you had people that either left and other people that stayed. But like you talk about the environment, the opportunity, and then the quality of the people that are around you, it kind of drives you to become a different person. And it's not just like your circumstance changed, so you just up and move. But if you feel like you're getting something from your environment, you have more reason to stay or at least mix and mingle with the people that you've made connections with.
Yeah, exactly. It's a definitely unique environment out here in LA, and we're definitely forward thinkers. Not to say that it can't happen somewhere else. I'm
Right.
saying in LA it happens a lot more often.
Gotcha. So I guess being in LA, did that make the cleansing business more accessible given your background in basketball and being able to do those things? Was it was it more feasible or would it have worked for you anywhere else just
Well,
given your
I don't
personality?
think it would have worked for me anywhere else. I think LA is a very unique place. They're kind of, like I said, forward thinkers as far as becoming vegan, becoming raw foodists.
Mm,
You got people into yoga, all these. I mean, you go to smaller places in the United States, they may
mm,
not have those things within their environment
right.
that kind of pushes you in a different direction. So
Mm,
LA is definitely unique in that way as far as the health scene goes here.
mm,
It's definitely something that moves fast, especially if you come across things that really work.
got you. I like that. And one of the other things, how I came across your profile was in two ways through David Shands that has the social proof brand and as well as the podcast and your personal page that you share from having the discussions with a couple of your co-hosts and your approach to podcasting, highlighting stories. I really like how it's to your pace, to your standard in the way in which you guys still see the funny in things, but you still touch on points that are meaningful and kind of have you think in different ways. So I really like what you have going on there. And I guess do you do that as just an aside from your personal brand marketing company that you're the CEO of versus just like, hey, this is what I get to do hanging out with the boys?
I mean, it definitely started off, oh, let me just do this with some of my friends, but it
Mm,
changed.
mm,
It changed when I started seeing, you know, Fred Rogan get $250 million last year.
mm,
Uh, that's the contract that he signed for his podcast. And I started really looking into it and hearing about people like $1 million worth of game. I heard they got over 100 million. Like all these people getting this wealth. But then I also realized that this can be an outlet for me, an
mm.
outlet for products, an outlet for things that I want to create.
Right.
So therefore, it kind of changed. It went from something fun to
Mm.
definitely still something fun, but now it's an opportunity to really, really create a place where I can distribute information and also my products.
I like that. And to your point, as we kind of started the conversation, it is one of those things that I'm learning to take more seriously because I started this as a hobby 6 years ago to have something outside of engineering, with that being my background and being like, okay, you do this thing very well where you get to build projects and things of that sort, but it's nice to still have an outlet to create and also touch base with people from all different works of life and people that I've had a chance to meet over the years of working and things of that size. So just having the opportunity to do this and um, how would you say it? A lot of other people might have stricter restrictions. So I am respectful of your time for doing that. And I don't take it with a grain of salt to say, okay, hey, you do need to up your standard. And I'm like, yeah, I accept the challenge and I'm willing to meet that to say, okay, you've got your feet wet a little bit and be
You've
intentional
been
with
doing
what
this
you're
for
doing.
6 years,
Yes.
interviews.
Hmm.
Let's go. 6 years, that means you got a lot of experience. That means you definitely, it's time to take this to the next level. And that means it's you holding you back.
Yes, sir. 100%.
Yeah, so 6 years, because I looked, like I said, I looked at your views and I try not to base anything on views or people's success, but it is a form of way. It does make you think, should you be here?
Right.
You know what I mean? Should you be here? So definitely, you know, grab the bull by the horns and go for it.
Thank you. And if I could ask you maybe two questions, what is
Ask
2025?
away. You got
Got
me
you.
here now. Let's go.
It's not like I'm holding you hostage, but what has 2025 been like for you as we're looking towards the back half of it already?
Um, for me, I'm always doing new adventures. So uh for me, it's been challenging. So I'm learning because me and my brother started buying apartment buildings throughout the United States and learning what it takes to make a apartment building successful is
Mm,
very, very interesting. So it's definitely been challenging, but I'm never scared to learn something new. I'm
mm,
basically I feel like that I'm put on this planet to put my family in a certain position. So when I'm gone, they will succeed beyond beyond their wildest thoughts, and
mm.
they'll be in comfort for the rest of their life.
And I guess with getting apartment buildings, have you already done the real estate, like starting with like the small homes, or was it immediately, okay, let
Me
me
and my
go
brother
into
used to
apartment
flip
buildings?
houses for years. We've
Got
been
you.
doing it for years. So eventually, we started buying apartment buildings, but like big ones, 100
Mm,
units.
mm,
You know what I mean? I think the smallest building we got is 27 units.
got you.
So, we're buying them and we're definitely trying to figure out how to make these things successful. So there
Mm,
is something we can pass on to our kids and our family so they can be successful and they can live life in comfort. I
got you.
always, like I said, I feel like I'm taking the bullet for all the dolphins in the future.
Mm. And I guess it's interesting. I've only met one other person with the last name of Dolphin. So I was curious. I'm like, where does that last name come from? Because you don't have any association with the Miami Dolphins, do you?
No,
No,
no, not at
got you.
all.
I didn't mean that as a slur either. I was just
No,
kind of
no, no.
just tying the
I
two
don't think
things
that's a
together.
slight at all. No Miami Dolphin history. The name Dolphin came from my great no from my grandfather.
Mm,
Um, and it was oh no, I think it's my great grandfather. I think it came from my great grandfather when he moved from Mississippi to Detroit.
mm,
It was a river or a lake or something around that time, and when he moved, he changed his name. He made his last name Dolphin, and it stuck. And then from there, he moved from Detroit to Los Angeles, and then that's when they started something called Dolphins of Hollywood.
mm,
Dolphins of Hollywood is basically about my grandfather, John Dolphin, who um, who started a record shop.
mm,
And he was the ultimate entrepreneur. He's the first person to ever have a business that was 24/7. So before 7-Eleven or any of those things, he had a business that was 24/7. And he used to sell records, but he didn't just sell records. He also had his own radio station. And he also he's one of the first Black producers ever. So he would be able to produce your record,
mm.
put your record on the radio, and then sell your record.
Well,
And that's my grandfather. His name is John Dolphin. Uh, he's a legend. And that entrepreneur spirit, my grandmother always told me that I got that from him.
yeah, I can definitely see that. And I guess with that, like having so many examples in your life where you have it from your grandfather, great grandfather, your father, and also having the balance with your mom where it's, hey, you show up and you get it done because in dipping my toes into entrepreneurship is that you have to work twice as hard to get what somebody else has already have the framework for. But at least when you do the work, it's on something that you love, something that you're invested in. And at the end of the day, it's your ownership. So people can talk about when it goes bad, but when it goes right, it's like it feels like it's so much sweeter.
Yeah, I always tell people it doesn't matter what you do, everything's hard.
Yeah,
Everything's hard. If you're going to be a real estate agent, you get your real estate license. Okay, cool. Now you got to find clients.
yeah,
And finding clients ain't easy. And you got to work it and you got to develop your method of acquiring clients. If you open up, a restaurant, you got to figure out how to pull people from the streets into your restaurant to eat your food.
mm,
Everything is hard. So you might as well do something for yourself
mm,
that can feed your family forever, opposed to working for someone and then realizing, hey, they can let me go one day.
right. It's a good point. And given your background in like getting into sports, having the mentality where I guess you say you have to be tenacious when you're playing basketball or just having that competitive mentality, how is it something that you do now in business and just in your personal life as it comes to what it is that you go after, whether it's real estate, cleansing business, or just future ventures that you're just like, okay, let me look into that.
Well, what I noticed about sports, what sports taught me is that you get better. If
Mm,
you show up every single day and work out and put in the work, you will realize that, wow, I got better.
mm,
So that means if that's true, everything is obtainable. Everything, because you will get better. If you keep working and working and working, you start from the free throw line. Next thing you know, you work your way out. Next thing you know, you're shooting 3-pointers. Next thing you know, you're making 100 threes in a row. And all of these things, you start developing these skills. That just made me realize that everything is obtainable, whether or not you're playing sports or becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, or you're a chef.
mm,
All of these things require effort and work. And if you put in that work every single day, then you'll win.
mm.
That's what sports did for me. So it opened my eyes for me to realize that I can do anything. It's really just up to me and has nothing to do with anyone else.
Right. And I like that mentality because in a way it's humbling, but it's also rewarding where it's like you show up, you put in the work, and it may not feel like it initially, but then a few days go by, a few months go by, and you can actually start to see the difference. And for
Oh yeah.
myself, I wrestled back in high school for 7 years, and here recently, the last 4 months, I started picking up jujitsu, and it was like, okay, there was one skill there for grappling that now I can relate to this, and then the body mechanics are starting to come back where I was off for maybe a week or two with COVID, recovering from that, and finally got over it. And it's like, okay, life kind of gets busy, and you do this, you do that, and it's like, okay, maybe I can only make one practice on Monday or Tuesday, and then I can come back on Saturday, and like just rolling around with different team members and things like that. It's like, okay, like I forgot what this is called in Japanese, but I understand what my body's doing. It's like, okay, if my arms are out here, I'm susceptible of being attacked. But if I keep them in tight, like you get caught one time, but then it's like, okay, don't do that again. Like one, two, three times. It's
Right.
like stop repeating the same thing and then being able to
Exactly.
ask someone directly, hey, how do I keep getting caught here? And they're like, well, this right here is what you're doing. And it's just it's always nice to have that like teacher where you have something that happens physically and then you can take it back to something that's mental or like you can plan out the strategy to be like, okay, this is what I set out to do. It didn't work out, but I get a chance to redo it. Like I didn't mess it up too bad to where people got hurt in between and then there's no coming back from that.
Got it. Absolutely.
So in as the year 2026 rolls around, and I'm sure you're always forward thinking, forward planning, what's one thing that you're looking forward to, whether it's like something you want to do with your family or something that you um, just want to keep an eye on?
Uh, in 2026, by the end of 2026, I will have one of the biggest podcasts on the planet. So
Mm.
that's my goal. That's my goal right now is to keep putting great people on my podcast and keep reaching out and really doing that and just keeping DHerbs ahead of the curve.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Still developing new products, still trying to enlighten people and inspire them to go about things a natural way opposed to taking medication and things of that nature. Those are really my goals is just to become more successful, keep pushing, and try to put my family in a better place.
I like that. And it's like the focus doesn't change, but it always brings more opportunity to you because it's not like you're having to put a whole bunch of things in your schedule, but your schedule is packed, but all of that leads to what your ultimate goal is. And it's just, it's one, two. Like it's not a whole lot of other things.
Exactly.
Awesome. And for how can people find you online to be able to see your podcast and see everything else that you're working with DHerbs?
Okay, so people can find me online at AD Dolphin. So that's just ADDOLPHIN, and you can pretty much find that on any platform. And once you get to that particular platform, you can kind of find, you'll see that, you'll see Deerb stuff up, you'll see my podcast up, and then you'll be able to, uh, go check those things out.
Awesome. And from the first question I asked you, are you still who you said you were?
I'm exactly who I said I was.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, and it was a pleasure talking with you.
Absolutely. Have a good one, man.
You too.
I need to see